Hey, Steve Minotti here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts. And I don't know about you, some folks have said they're done with the hubcap game, but you know, Queen Katie of Bernardston says no, not so much. She wants more hubcap game, and thus it shall be. So let's get started with this hubcap here, which is from an Opel record, about a 1957, 58, and if it looks kind of like General Motors, just remember that Opel was designed by General Motors in Detroit, although built in Germany. Interesting little hubcap, just basically stamped chrome-plated steel, and this little gold-plated circle here is riveted in place. Kind of a cool piece, in good shape for what it is. You like hubcaps so much, don't you, Katie? Look at you, you were digging in so hard. You know, hubcaps are fun, but maybe not as fun for dogs as they are for people, unless you're like Katie. But this is a hubcap right here from probably about a 1954 Chevrolet. Just remember too that 1954, the Korean conflict, it wasn't a war, folks, was kind of still in full force. So the outer skin of this thing is going to be stainless steel, and it's a more strategic material than the steel hubcap behind it. So it's a composite hubcap. And so half of it is pretty well degraded from rust. The other half on the outside, not so bad. And again, Chevrolet, the mighty blue tie, the bow tie, if you will, from Chevrolet. A few years later on, we have this. This is probably from 52 or 3, maybe 4, hard to say. Chevrolet basic car right here. And again, this is a little different. This is all stainless. So it's possible that the manufacturing restrictions on stainless steel were lifted as the Korean conflict, not a war, folks, was eased to some degree. So again, this is maybe a year or two later. And again, all stainless, no rust, no steel here. And getting a little bit earlier, I'd say 1947 or so right here, just after World War II, a Chevrolet wheel cover, a hubcap wheel cover, you call it what you will. And this is certainly from the late 40s, probably 46, 7, something like that. We can see these motifs here of sort of sweeping sails. Of course, the Chevrolet logo in blue. And again, like the others, this is a composite with a steel substrate and the rust-proof stainless steel on the outside. And again, these were from the period of time when Chevrolet was all about 6-cylinder motors, no V8s in Chevyland until 1955, when the world changed. Let's move it over to Ford, and this is a blue oval item right here. If you named this as a 1965 Ford Fairlane, you named it correctly. And some people say this looks like a frog coming at you right here. But again, a one-piece stainless steel structure, 14-inch wheel. And again, this is all about Ford Fairlane, mid-range car right here. 1965, I would say. The Standard of Excellence Cadillac right here. And this is a composite hubcap, but no stainless. Well, there is stainless here, but lots of plastic. Yes, this is probably about a 1978, 79 Cadillac DeVille, I would have to imagine. 15-inch wheel cover, 3 little studs with screws on it that hold it in place. Look at how the white metal that's part of the studs is degrading and turning into dust as it begins to coagulate or anticipate or whatever it's going on here, but it's not good. But with that said, it's a combination of degradation and preservation. The plastic never goes away, but with that said, the mounts are not doing so well. And let's see what we have here. Oh, yeah, Ford Granada right here. 1982-ish. Again, a 14-inch wheel. Perhaps a 13, probably a 14, hard to say. But again, a full wheel cover as seen on a Ford Granada. The second version of the Granada, the one that's based on the Fox platform. And these things were everywhere, generally on 4-doors, sometimes wagons. But again, the Granada at this point in time, 255 cubic inch V8 or the 200 cube 6 popper, sometimes a 3.8 V6, all possible rolling down the road with this wheel cover. And more Ford goodness right here. The Mercury right here, I'd say 1966. Mercury 202, the base level of the Mercury Comet, and a one-piece stainless steel stamping once again. And these were seen on like a 66 or a 67 427 Mercury 202 Comet. These things right here with a base wheel cover. And yeah, on dual quad 427 cars, this wheel cover right here. It's in great shape, so if you're doing a restoration of one of those things, or even a 6-cylinder car, this would be a nice piece to have on your garage wall or on your car. More Ford goodness here. I'd say this is probably 1973, full-sized Ford, 15-inch wheel. And again, this is the Ford LTD. And again, full-sized Ford cars, convertibles, 4-doors, wagons, all could wear a wheel cover like this one here. And again, it's kind of faded out. This would have had some black accentuations in here to give it a little bit of texture and 3D effect. But again, a one-piece stamping. And this thing right here, you'd be forgiven. You said, oh, it's an old Ford van hubcap. Well, not so fast. We're standing in front of a 1980 Dodge Maxi van. This thing right here, this is a school bus conversion. And this is Dodge's take or take off or rip off on the Ford 3/4 ton wheel cover. But again, you don't see any Ford logos here. This would have been found on the corner of something like this Dodge Maxi van. And again, these were made of stamped steel. They were sprayed with an inexpensive silver kind of a paint, and they don't resist rust all that well. But again, it's Dodge, not Ford. Oh boy, okay. If you grew up in the 1970s, you'll remember this very well. This is a Pontiac Sunbird. This, of course, would have been a 13-inch wheel right here, and a very strange wheel cover because it looks like the honeycomb wheel found on like a Trans Am or something like that, but it's actually a composite wheel. The parent material is plastic. It's a urethane of some kind. It's pretty rugged stuff. And of course, it has a stainless steel center, which can be played like a drum. There you go. I won't be winning any contests with that, but again, a plastic wheel cover from the 1970s when simulation was just as good as reality. Going a little further here, oh yeah, 1971, maybe two, full-size Chevrolet, the Caprice, probably the Impala, frankly, full-sized wheel cover right here, 15-incher, more than likely, a one-piece stainless stamping. Right there, snaps right on in place and hides that unsightly 15-inch steel wheel from the world right here. And a little glue-on Chevrolet crest in the middle right there. Still kind of hanging in there a little bit. But again, Chevrolet full-size, early 70s. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, here's a Mopar. This, if you know your Plymouth Volare, this is the wheel cover from a Plymouth Volare. And in fact, these were also seen on the B bodies, the mid-size Plymouths of the mid-70s, the Fury, the smaller Furies. Of course, the Volare would be found with a wheel cover kind of like this, one-piece stainless steel stamping with 14-inch rim, no 15s, no 13s, always a 14 on these things. But here, if you look in the center, that looks to be sort of like the Plymouth sailing. This is the pilgrims coming your way as they make their way to Plymouth Rock, hopefully not hitting it. But if you kind of look at it, it's a sailing ship. You can see the foresail, the outriggers, etc., whatever that stuff is for the sailing folks. But Plymouth, of course, arrived, what, 1928, I think it was, as Chrysler Corporation's most affordable brand. And well into, I think, 2000, Plymouth finally hit the rocks and went away. And inside of here, this is Mercury right here, another Mercury wheel cover. This is a little more upscale than the 202 piece, probably from a Mercury Comet Caliente, and a one-piece item right here. And you never know what kind of stuff you're going to find in the junkyard. I always say, one of these days I want to find a Krugerrand, and what do you know? I did. It's a 1967 South American Krugerrand. And it looks the part, you know. I dare say that it's a nice thing. In fact, one of our viewers, a fellow by the name of Joe Henrissy, sent this to me from Schaumburg, Illinois. But here's the thing. Is it really a Krugerrand, or is it Mamorex or Memorex? The magnet tells the tale. Gold is not magnetic. But with that said, Joe Henrissy, thank you for sending me a Krugerrand, and I can put this in the hubcap game and not worry about scratching it and losing the value of the thing. But that's the story of the hubcap game, number 27. If the dog likes it, I hope you like it too. Now be sure to stick around for more Junkyard Crawl videos tomorrow morning. Give us a thumbs up, give us a subscription, give us a like, all that good stuff. We'll see you again tomorrow.